Good morning, families. Welcome back to the American Family Survival Network. I'm your host, Jeffrey Snipes. And Major Hurricane Matthew to pound southeastern U.S. coast with surf, rain, and wind. This is brought to us by Alex Sosnowski, AccuWeather.com, senior meteorologist. Beyond the Bahamas, reported October 5th, 2016 at 4:30 a.m., Matthew will threaten the southeastern United States coast as a major hurricane with pounding surf, torrential rain, and damaging winds starting late this week. The risk of heavy rain, strong winds, and pounding seas may extend northward as the weekend progresses. Conditions will deteriorate from south to north from Florida to the Carolinas late this week and into this weekend as powerful Hurricane Matthew approaches. This is what we're looking at for Matthew into Sunday. As you can see there, we're looking at Thursday a.m. It's still a 4. Friday a.m. as a 3. Saturday a.m. and then Sunday a.m. it turns into a 2, according to this particular projection. Matthew will take a northwestern turn over the Bahamas on Wednesday and will continue on a northwesterly path that will bring the system very close to the Florida East Coast on Friday and the South Carolina coast during Friday night, according to AccuWeather hurricane expert Don Kotlowski. From Saturday to Sunday, a turn toward the northeast is forecast, with the center continuing to parallel the coast and possible landfall on one or more points in North Carolina, Kotlowski said. Officials across the southeast are taking precautions ahead of the storm. On Monday, North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory declared a state of emergency for 66 counties in central and eastern North Carolina. He was later joined by Florida Governor Rick Scott, who issued a statewide state of emergency. Both governors also activated portions of their National Guard. On Tuesday, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley declared a state of emergency and ordered the evacuation of more than 1 million people from coastal areas along the state, while Georgia Governor Nathan Deal declared a state of emergency for 13 counties. In Florida, all Brevard public schools will be closed on Thursday and Friday due to the approaching hurricane. Matthew to raise monstrous seas bring danger to coastal U.S. The most widespread impacts will be for seas and surf to build to dangerous and damaging levels. The number and strength of rip currents will increase. As you can see, coastal impacts through Friday, you're looking at building seas, rough surf, strong rip currents, beach erosion, locally damaging winds, and flooding rain. This storm, Matthew, is going to affect Miami, Daytona Beach, Myrtle Beach, and all the way up to Virginia Beach. This is what we're looking at here with regards to that for coastal impacts. And again, the projection of the storm. Storm surge and wave action will lead to coastal flooding with the worst conditions at times of high tide. Some low-lying access roads to the islands may be inundated. Offshore seas can build to monstrous levels. Wave heights from north of the Bahamas to just northeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, will top 25 feet as Matthew moves northward. Let's read that again. Offshore seas can build to monstrous levels. Wave heights from north of the Bahamas to just northeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, will top 25 feet as Matthew moves northward. Wow. Stay off the oceans, people. Cruise and freight interests may want to reroute their course to avoid the dangerous conditions. Absolutely. Bathers and boaters should heed all advisories as they are issued. To venture in or on the sea will put not only you, but also your would-be rescuers at risk. Risk of flooding, damaging winds to expand in southeastern U.S. Along the immediate eastern Florida and Georgia coast, winds can gust close to hurricane force with tropical storm conditions possible farther inland along the Interstate 95 corridor. In Florida and Georgia, most of the heavy rain and the risk of sporadic poor drainage area flooding is likely to be restricted to the coast and along I-95. Matthew's impacts into the weekend: flooding rain, locally damaging winds, power outages, coastal flooding, and these areas that are highlighted to be affected are Miami, all the way up to Daytona Beach, through Jacksonville, and on to Myrtle Beach. as you can see from this picture here. Farther north along the I-95 corridor in the Carolinas and perhaps over the Virginia Capes, people should be prepared for hurricane conditions. Right along the coast, especially on Cape Hatteras, gusts may approach 100 miles an hour. With this strong, winds this strong can down trees and large tree limbs, cause property damage and knock out power. From the Carolinas to southeastern Virginia, heavy rain and the risk of flash and urban flooding will be more extensive from the coast to the I-95 corridor. Heavy rain and strong winds could push farther west over the Carolinas. Should Matthew make landfall and move inland rather than parallel the coast. So heavy rain and strong winds could push farther west over the Carolinas should Matthew make landfall and move inland rather than parallel the coast. Okay, Matthew could impact the northeastern U.S. this weekend. The severity of impacts in the northeastern states will be dependent on the track of Matthew and its interaction with a storm system approaching from the west this weekend, Kotlowski said. If the two features remain separate, tropical storms to hurricane conditions with minor to moderate coastal flooding and localized damage will brush areas from southeastern Maryland to eastern Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, and Maine. If the two systems begin to merge, then the risk of heavy rain, flooding, and damaging winds will accelerate northward and extend farther inland, perhaps well beyond the I-95 corridor. According to AccuWeather Chief Meteorologist Elliott Abrams, if Matthew misses the connection with the approaching storm altogether and does not get swept northeastward along the coast, it could meander along the southeast coast for days. All U.S. interests from Maine to Florida along the coast and I-95 corridor will need to closely monitor the track, strength, and forward speed of Matthew through this weekend. Okay, folks, so we got some serious weather heading our way here in the southeast part of the United States, and especially in Florida. You need to get prepared if you're not already. And part of that would be to go to the AmericanFamilySurvivalStore.com to get all of your family's emergency survival needs and supplies. That's AmericanFamilySurvivalStore.com. But do whatever you got to do. Go to Home Depot, go to your local convenience stores, whatever you got to do to get your flashlights, your rain gear, put up your hurricane shutters. Captains, you need to pull your boats out of the water. Looks like we're going to have a storm, folks, and we got some major people very concerned about this. So do what you got to do to hunker down, and better safe than sorry, right? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and remember, protect and safeguard your family. Fear not, and God bless. Thank you so much. Have a great day.